God, guys. This is amazing. Look at all of you. This is so wonderful. And like, you've seen so many wonderful presentations and you've seen so many wonderful images. There's just, so many good things to write down. It's an awesome, like a coma of awesomeness, basically. And I know it has been so much fun to be here. Oh my God, thank you so much for asking me to talk. This is such a huge honor, especially to close this out. Holy shit. But I feel like I'm in design summer camp. Like there's so many people that I haven't met before, but I knew online, and then I met them in real life, and I'm like, oh my God, you're more awesome than you were online. And that's so good when that happens, because it's always so nervous. It's bad when it doesn't happen. But everyone I've met that I've met online that I met here in real life has been fantastic. And so that's really great. And it's been great to reconnect with old friends too. I suggest next year that we all have bunk beds. Yeah. We all braid each other's hair, because that's what Jennifer and I have been doing. We've been braiding each other's hair as we've been holding it back as we dry heave into the toilet, because we've been so nervous about presenting and talking to you. So anyway, I don't know about how our neurotic behavior kind of like fed off of each other these last couple days. I don't know. A lot of people don't get to see the creative process. It's nasty and gross, and I dedicate this to you, Jennifer Daniel. Okay, so anyway, hello. I already said hi. I'm Kate Bingaman Burt, and I am a teacher, illustrator, and maker of things. A big part of my week is spent with lots of pens, a fistful of pens, and lots of paper, and lots of email that I am really behind on right now, and I'm very sorry. And I have been really lucky to have been able to work with a really fun variety of clients so far. I primarily work in illustration, but I've been able to do surface design, stationery, apparel, wine. Oh my God, if any of you guys ever get the opportunity to design wine bottles, you know what, I wouldn't even ask for payment, just ask for wine. I've got so many cases of wine right now. I don't have a problem, but I think I might be after I'm done with this job. So anyway, so when I'm not teaching or illustrating for other people, I try to find as much time as possible to work on projects that focus on why we buy, what we buy, and the stories behind our objects. This is truly my obsessive kind of crazy focus, and I've been making this type of work for the last 10 years. And actually all of this work has yielded my client work that I just talked about too. So yeah, I love making for me, and I love making for others. I also, a really huge part of my life, and it's becoming more and more so as years go on, is that I'm an assistant professor of graphic design at Portland State University. And I'm there all during the week. I nerd out about curriculum development. I nerd out about design education. All these things that I never thought that I would nerd out about. I'm like, I can't wait to work on the schedule. I can't wait to find adjuncts to pair them up with classes. It's like really weird matchmaking stuff. Like I love finding good internships for students. I'm like, you two are gonna like each other. And it's so much fun. But anyway, what I really want to talk to you about, especially since we've been seeing so many images and hearing so many wonderful things, and I feel like we are kind of in this world right now of 2012 of just being inundated with cool stuff, right? We see cool stuff every day. But how do we filter this stuff? And I'm teaching a section of a senior thesis this quarter, and all of my students are rabid image collectors, which is great. I'm so happy that they're looking and that they're digesting all these images. And some of them take their mood boards very seriously, okay? And they fancy themselves curators, yet their final output is lacking, which leads me to arguments about how they're just collecting and not thinking and making. Because mindlessly collecting, it doesn't make you a curator. It doesn't yield good work. I tell my students, just because you have tons of boards on Pinterest, I have so many boards on Pinterest too, and tons of likes and reblogs on Tumblr, doesn't mean that you're making anything new. Yeah, collecting imagery is part of the research process. It's so important to the research process. But if you're just collecting and not thinking about the connections, making those connections between images, then you're looking like a super lazy person, okay? You're looking like a lazy person. You don't look like a lazy person. You're looking like a lazy person. You get the difference in my tone there? Okay, cool. I want my students to look, make connections, and then make new things based off of those connections. And that's actually really, really good advice for me too, because I'm a lazy looker, okay? I feel like it's really easy, again, in the world of so many amazing things. It's like, cool, 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 like this. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's so easy to like something. Liking things is cool. I love liking things, I really do. I like things all the time. Seriously, I do. I love to like things, okay? I do. And reblogging is so much fun, especially when you find an image on the internet that's pink, a pink reblog button. Oh, so great. I was so excited about that. But accumulating tons of images and then sharing them with others, it's one of my favorite things to do. However, again, there is a big difference between collecting/sharing and the actual art of curation. Curation means interpretation, drawing through lines between different things and creating new meanings. To curate, you must intensely study visual culture. You must constantly be asking questions, looking for connections, and always searching and seeking to find new meanings. It's our responsibility to do this as graphic designers. An acute attention to visual culture is one of the traits that I want to push in my students. It's one of the traits that I want to push in myself. Because again, it's so easy to just like things. And as our friend Frank Chimero, our good friend Frank Chimero says, remember, looking at design is not making design. However, actively looking at images yields active making. So I assigned to my seniors, they had to pick 5 things, okay? 5 things that are important to the way that you have worked. Think about the way you are working. How are these important to the way you aspire to work? I want to see images, objects, stories, experiences, and anything related to visual culture that strikes a deep chord within you. These should be the images that make you want to projectile vomit because they're so good. You know, like, it's so easy. Oh, this is it. You see something that just like punches you in the gut, and you're like, holy shit, I have to go lay down. Like those are the images that we want to be talking about, okay? And then I wanted them to use these items to guide them through this big senior thesis project that they had coming up, okay? So again, 5 is pretty damn arbitrary. It's actually, it was kind of a terrible assignment to give, okay? Because I simply just wanted them to be looking thoughtfully and actively, but 5 is tough because I then gave that assignment to myself, and I'm gonna share it with you. I did not like this assignment. I don't know, what am I doing? What am I doing to my students? Oh my God. Editing is difficult. I started this assignment like, oh, 5 images, so easy, blah, blah. I like, okay, now I've got 72, and I love all of them like they were my children. You know, it's ridiculous. And so editing is difficult. And so once we all broke down to our 5, we had to share, okay? Sharing the results with each other. This was also another really, really key component to this whole process. Is when you hear about the sharing, you see the things that overlap, and then different connections happen when you're talking to other people about these shared images that are truly important to the way that you work. You learn something else about somebody else's images, and those connections are really cool. And anyway, so this project took me forever. And I actually redid this for this talk. I totally changed up my 5 images. And that's a little caveat to the assignment. You can change your images all the time, okay? But again, looking thoughtfully and with intention is hard. And then having to talk about it is hard. But that was the point. So I'm gonna share with you my 5 things. Okay, this is a photo of my grandmother with her first published children's book at the age of 19 in 1944. This has been with me in some capacity for as long as I can remember. 2, a love letter generated on a computer punch card from my dad to my mom in 1967. It says, think we should go quit and go to Australia? Okay. That is probably the nicest thing that he has ever written to her to this day. So anyway, an insane eraser and ribbon collection. I have no idea where I found these images. but they have been with me digitally for years. I'm like, oh, where did my ribbons go? I need my ribbons, like a security blanket or something. If I'm like, oh, I just need to look at my ribbons. I feel so much better now. and this is actually interesting because I was talking about sharing. This is the third freaking time that Garbage Pail Kids have come up. What the hell? Okay? Seriously. And I think what's interesting is that, like, if you look at me, if you look at Johnny, you know, it's like, I feel like just looking at us, we seem very different. But like those shared things, it's like, oh, Garbage Pail Kids are really important to me. They're really important to you. You know? I'm like, oh, hey, Garbage Pail Kids are really important to me, friends of type. I love that. Do you want to be friends? Yeah. All right. Unlike these guys, my collection is at home, and I'm pretty sure my mom, I don't know what she's done with it. I don't want to talk about it, but anyway. My fifth object is Every Building on the Sunset Strip by Ed Ruscha, 1966. I only freaking wish I owned a copy of this, okay? So, I have my things, I've got my things, but what the hell do they mean? I knew that I intensely liked them, like to my core. Like, again, like these were the things that made my stomach hurt. These were the things that gave me goosebumps. These were the things that I knew informed the way that I work, but I wasn't quite sure how. So I tried to put words to these things. I tried to make connections, and I tried to make meaning, and I tried to make connections to the way that I'm working now and to the ways that I hope to be working in the future. So I started identifying broad themes, and I also started identifying other things that related to the original 5 things. So, again, these are the things that are just a snapshot of me in June 2012. And it'll be very different in July of 2012. And it'll be very different in March of 2015. But that is the point. As your work evolves and changes, your things evolve and change with you. Okay, so here are my things for June 2012. More about my grandma. Okay, this picture has always been a part of my grandmother's origin story, okay? Nan Pollard. She is a professional children's illustrator. This picture pinpoints the moment she became the professional illustrator with the big quotes. She is 19, and this is a publicity still for her new book that she just published. My grandmother has had an immense effect on both my aesthetic as well as my work ethic and attitude. She's illustrated over 1,000 children's books during her 50-year career. So rad, so good. I mean, I have stacks and stacks and stacks of these. Like, I've started scanning them in. Like, she deserves a website and archive like crazy. She joyfully loved her work. Joyfully loved her work. Her work was play, her play was work. I have many good memories of being in her studio, watching her work, asking her so many dumb questions, and secretly hoping to catch the fumes from her spray fixative because, you know, that stuff smells really good. She was very organized and structured. She always talked about how fortunate she was to be an illustrator. She never had to look for work, and people loved working with her. She had a joyful public personality and a hilariously filthy private sense of humor, which I adore, okay? Oh my God, she could swear like nobody else. It was like poetry. Oh my God. So she raised 4 kids during the 1950s and 1960s. This Christmas card is cooler than anybody's Christmas card is ever going to be, ever, for the end of time, okay? She was a full-time illustrator from the time she was 19 until she lost her central vision at the age of 78. She also had an amazing sense of fashion. She had fun with color, with patterns, and with unusual pairings. She wore what she liked and didn't care about trends. I grew up in her house filled with color and walls filled with photographs. And she surrounded herself with meaningful objects and wore items that made people smile. I was just back at her house a couple months ago, and I started taking all these different pattern studies. Like, I'm gonna take a picture of the floor. I'm gonna take a picture of the wall. Just, you know, whatever. I like doing things like that, so sue me. And so I had tons of these pattern studies, and then I compared them to the pattern studies on my desk, and I'm like, oh, I can draw connections. That's really cool. And then this is her wall, which is just filled with family photographs, and then I compared it to my walls are jammed as well, okay? She was the first person to give me permission to be a maximalist. I'm not talking minimalist, we're talking maximalist, okay? No color was too much and no pattern was too garish as long as you were having fun with it. And she's a big influence whenever I'm doing installations in galleries or whenever I'm setting up a table for a show or whenever I'm even like decorating my office. I'm always thinking, what would grandma do? And you know, WWGD, y'all, what would grandma do? And so more is what she would always say. More is more. I love that so much. And not to bring down the room, but she passed away a couple months ago, but she left me her drawing table, which is pretty amazing. Oh my God, I haven't gotten it yet. It needs to be shipped back. She said she knew that I would use it every single day for the rest of my life. And I'm planning on proving her right, so thank you, Grandma. And then here's a picture of my mom and my grandma, and I promise that the kid in the middle is not some creepy ventriloquist doll. What the hell? What kind of suit am I wearing? What is that? Holy shit. Okay, so again, this photograph, this thing, my very first thing of my grandmother at 19 with her first published work is one of my 5 things because it reminds me to work hard and to never take making for granted. It also reminds me that I should always dress to match whatever I'm doing. The pattern that's on her dress is of paintbrushes and palettes, and it's on her blouse, and I'm like, oh, you're an artist and you're dressing like you're an artist. So anyway, nice one, Grandma. Okay. So my next thing is this punch card, love letter, from my dad to my mom. I was trying to figure out why I loved it so much, and it is because I like it when the mundane gets elevated. I like it when boring things do unexpected things. This is why I love this image. It's a computer-generated punch card that has one of the sweetest things that my dad has ever said. To my mom, 1967, let's quit school and go to Australia. That's pretty romantic, right? Let's just get the F out of here and go to Australia. But I like to picture that he made it on a computer like this, right? This computer has a wheel. Where is it going? Where is it going? Okay? But in all seriousness, he generated it on this, which is still pretty ridiculous. But so instead of using it to compute data, he used it to generate a love letter. He made something very sterile into something very human. And punch cards are freaking beautiful. And again, I love the fact that my dad used them for something other than data computation. He computated the data of love, okay? I have other mundane, elevating images that I would like to share with you. This is David Byrne in his iconic white suit. I freaking love David Byrne. And it's because he takes elevating the mundane very seriously as well. Okay, for example, he took a boring business suit and took it to the logical extreme. I love logical extremes. Another David Byrne appearance. True Stories is one of my most favorite movies of all time. If you guys have not seen this, you need to actually leave my lecture right now and go see it. No, don't do that. That made me feel really bad and weird. Even though you're just following directions, don't do that. So again, this movie is all about elevating the mundane and celebrating the specialness of boringness. Oh, I love that phrase. Anyway, plus John Goodman is adorable in this role. And he's just an everyday man looking for love. So cute, okay? And again, it's also responsible for one of my all-time favorite movie stills, Shopping is a Feeling. Martin Parr is a well-known British photographer and also one of my favorites who happens to collect boring postcards. Faden published 2 volumes of his collections a few years ago. Parr stated, he has this whole scientific breakdown for it. Parr stated that for a postcard to qualify as sufficiently boring, either its composition or its content or the characters featured must be arguably boring, or the photograph must be absent of anything which might conventionally be described as interesting, but together as a group, they are totally fascinating. As a group, they are elevated way beyond the mundane. This is a cross-stitch done by artist Peter Baldez, okay? And what he did here is he photographed the movement of his cell phone after 10 missed calls. He then stitched a rainbow infographic tracking these missed conversations. This is so beautifully sad and boring and amazing. and I want to eat it. I love it so much, okay? Okay, so there are hopefully aspects of elevating the mundane in a lot of the things that I do. So when I found myself deep in debt in 2004, hello, negative $24,000, I decided to draw all of my credit card statements one by one until they were paid off. And oh, also too, the cruelty of having one of the closing speakers talk about his amazing multi-million-dollar business and the other talk about how she is stoked that she finally has a medium to okay credit score. So, okay, these machine-generated statements carried mountains of anxiety, of stress, of sadness, of like, welcome to Loserville, okay? I felt totally powerless and out of control. So at the point, I felt like my only control was to draw them, share them with people, and slowly begin to pay them off. I started this project in 2004 and finished paying off my credit cards and finished drawing my damn credit cards in February of 2010. However, I still love drawing forms and bits of paper and other weird things that are in your pockets. I get lost in drawing receipts. I recently acquired an oversized thermal printer. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it is so cool. It like prints on giant receipt paper. And so I'm going to scan my receipt drawings to make giant receipt drawings on receipt paper. Meta, 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 boom, oh my God, okay? It's like, what? So again, I want my receipts to be as big as possible, damn it. And again, I love drawing the bits and pieces of paper that we end up throwing away. Seriously, how many times do you open up your wallet and all you see are receipts and you're like, money used to be where you are right now, you know? And so it's just kind of like, oh shit. So again, I love drawing my receipts, like bus tickets and traffic tickets. And then I occasionally ask people to, like, can I draw something that's in your pockets too? So don't be offended if I come up to you and ask you for what's in your pockets. I don't want your money, I just want your receipts. So I've been drawing something that I buy every day since February 5th, 2006. I'm drawing everyday objects. These are not objects that are particularly interesting, but objects that we all have relationships with in purchasing. This everyday fascination / elevating the mundane fixation leads me to my next image and the fact that I need a drink of water. My erasers and my ribbons, okay? God, I love those. Okay, I love collections and making things in multiples. They're kind of two things, but they cross over. It's like this weird Venn diagram. Oh my God, look at these guys. I love these so much. This also plays into my maximalist tendencies. I'm always drawn to visually obnoxious imagery. Like these wonderful photographs by Jang Min Yoon. They just slay me. It's like, you're a boy, let's look at all your blue stuff. And then you're a girl, let's look at all your pink stuff. It's just so great. And Andreas Gursky makes me want to give everyone in here high fives. Seriously, I freaking love Andreas Gursky. The intensity of his multiples, the collection of people and color, again, I want to give you all high fives that I like Andreas Gursky so much. Again, I love looking at all sorts of collections and hearing the stories behind them. So I want to see your record collection, your security envelope collection, your mixtape collection, your freaking succulent collection, and your damn condiment collection. There's one, that's like awesome, right? And I'm really interested if you get a weird fan obsession. I want to hear about it, okay? So my obsession with collections and multiples is why I think I keep creating collections of my own. Again, whether it's daily drawings. I have drawn almost 2,500 daily drawings. Or collecting and drawing other people's mixtapes. Again, if any of you guys have mixtapes, I want to draw them. Email me your images of mixtapes. I must keep my collection going. Please, please, please. And if you do that, I'll draw it and I'll send you the original. Okay, thank you. It's the end of that announcement. Or collecting stories and drawing objects that people have stolen. Okay? This is so interesting to me. It's such a, these emails and these conversations, it's such an interesting array of like guilt and sad and happy and joyous and nervous, just these sweaty stories. Keep them coming. Okay? I want to draw the meat that you just stole, or the lipstick, or the Bible, or your preparation H, okay? I also am collecting people's passwords. I'm really interested in the arbitrary words that we assign are these accounts that are supposed to be so private, right? So give me your passwords. Also, judging you from your passwords, you are all filthy. Every single one of you in here is disgusting and filthy and dirty, and I love it, okay? So again, I take a lot of photographs, and whenever I'm taking pictures, I'm always drawn to multiples. So multiple carts, multiple Target shoppers, multiple yard sales, multiple thrift stores. I'm always inserting structure and the desire for a collection within my work. I once documented all of my purchases for 28 months. I collected everything I'd purchased over 28 months and photographed and filed them away in glassine envelopes. So again, yeah, I cherish my erasers and my ribbons, and I love my collections and my multiples. So my next image are these guys that everybody seems to love, okay? But again, this is a collection that takes me down the road of what I like to call creepy cute, okay? I have a lot to say about creepy cute. The creepy cute aesthetic is one of my most favorite aesthetics. Adorable and vomit-inducing all at the same time. Yes, let's combine glitter and zits. Please, let's do, okay? This is creepy cute, okay? Right? It is. This is creepy cute. Yeah. This is creepy cute. And this is my newest edition. This is creepy cute. What the fuck is she holding? Oh my God, right? Okay. And these two are most certainly creepy cute. John Waters is a god and Divine is, well, a shit-eating rock star. I love her so much. Okay, Pee Wee Herman is creepy cute. I like it that he was caught masturbating in an adult movie theater. It gives him creepy cute street cred. And did you know that he had a midnight show at the Groundlings Theater in 1980? It was way more adult and dirty, just so I like Pee-wee, cute and creepy. And did you know that his midnight show had a zine? Check out this sweet photocopier action. And oh my God, if you look up in the corner, there's a picture of Steve Martin and Pee Wee Herman together. Holy shit, my nerd loins are exploding, okay? Woo, my God. And of course, there's this. And I'm gonna show you a short video that I think really embodies everything that is creepy cute. It's a video that was done several years ago by, his name's Charlie White. He was hired by Adidas to interpret the color pink. It's so creepy cute. So, let's see. It's very short and gross. That's all, you know? So I do a lot of work in textiles and I appropriate a lot of stereotypical cute ways of making, and some of the cute's been really dragging me down, okay? These days a lot of craft equals cute, which is totally fine, but I want my craft to be creepy cute, okay? This pillow is a representation of my guts, digesting my credit card annual percentage rates. And so it's like, I'm gonna be doing, I want it to be kind of gross, okay? I want it to be, it needs to be pushed better, okay? But then like when I draw people, I intentionally draw them in a creepy cute way. So like a creepy J.R. Ewing. He's too good looking, he needs to be creepy. A creepy cute Nicki Minaj, a creepy cute Zooey Deschanel. Those eyes need to be bigger. I also adore drawing creepy cute presidents. God bless America. Okay, so recently I bought a creepy cute book on cats and made a creepy cute drawing, okay? And then a few weeks later, I bought a book on Joseph Beuys and drew a creepy cute Joseph Beuys book. And then for what I was trying to hope for maximum creepy cuteness was that I combined the two and made a creepy cute kitty and Joseph Beuys living together in weirdo harmony. So anyway, I really want to do more creepy cute. This is truly where my interest lies right now. And so, okay, we're getting to number 5. My number 5 thing. My last thing is Every Building on the Sunset Strip by Ed Ruscha. I saw a copy of this book when I was in high school and was fascinated by not only the content but also the structure. Like, this is a piece of art and you can hold it in your hands and there's these photographs and it looks boring but it's totally fascinating. Like, this piece really overlaps a lot of the things that I find, a lot of the themes that I find really important. Ed Ruscha is mostly known as the guy who makes these, and is loved on Tumblr, by the way, but I know and love him as the guy who actually also introduced me to automated projects, okay? Automated projects have a set of rules to follow. These rules help aid creation. These rules keep people moving and making. So in the early 1960s, Ed Ruscha had several automated projects going on at once. 34 parking lots, some Los Angeles buildings, 26 gasoline stations. And Ed Ruscha said, I used to drive back 4 or 5 times a year, and I began to feel that there was so much wasteland between LA and Oklahoma that somebody had to bring the news to the city. Then I had this idea for a book title called 26 Gasoline Stations, and it became like a fantasy rule in my mind that I knew I had to follow. Then it was just a matter of being a good little art soldier. I love that phrase, a good little art soldier, and going out and finishing it. It was a straightforward case of getting factual information and bringing it back. I thought of it as making a sort of training manual for people who wanted to know about things like that. And he did. He made these really, really lovely books. They were published in 1962, and it was really the prototype for most of Ruscha's subsequent books as well. He created a framework, an automatic project, and he filled that framework. Again, too, not only did Ed Ruscha turn me on to automated projects, but his work started my deep love for artist books and zine culture. All my daily drawings are published in monthly zines. I've created 74 volumes, and I don't have plans on stopping. I love the tangibility and accessibility of zines. I love the fact that I can make something, I can have a story, I can Xerox it, and then I can give it to a stranger. I can give it to somebody that I know, and I can share in that way. It's so much cooler than a business card. I absolutely love making zines. And I love working with rule systems and automated directives. Again, they keep me making and they keep me moving. So again, almost all of my projects have some sort of rule structure to help guide creation and content. And that's my little list up there. And then also too, many of the speakers and designers that you've seen over these past few days all use automated systems in their work too. Matt, Julia, Austin, and Carolyn, just to name a few. And so do Friends of Type, okay? They have a beautiful system that incorporates these, and it ties these 4 friends together over amazing daily typography. It's a simple rule structure that yields creation. And when you have these rules, this constraint, again, more creation. So again, some things that I've learned. Picking 5 things is tough. I'm already thinking about my next 5 things. And again, my students, we ended up spending about 100 times longer on this project than we anticipated. But then we shared our 5 things, and the conversation was incredibly fun and long, and connections were made. And again, it was a really wonderful experience. And again, it's important to remind myself to not be a passive looker. We see so many images, really great images every day, that it's easy to get a bit numb and to just mindlessly digest without thinking. I want to always be thoughtfully looking and then thoughtfully making. When we consume images passively and then start making, we make dumb mistakes, okay? I don't really feel that anybody, I mean, some people intentionally mean to copy, but I feel like a lot of the copying that happens is because of lazy looking, okay? So we accidentally copy somebody, we accidentally make really boring work, we accidentally add to a pile of repetitive imagery that already exists. Don't get me wrong, I love collecting piles of images, love it, but just as a break, an experiment, ask yourself what your 5 things are, okay? You've got so much new information from these last 2 days. Think about what your five favorite things are, and then how you can tie those together, and how those things, like those connections that are made, how they can affect the way you work in the future, okay? So let's turn all of this looking and listening into thoughtful making. So again, what are your 5 things? I really would love to know. Thank you very much.